down.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and welcome to the Chasing Pack, a show that will be midweek, a show that will be about talking about where Everton are that week, having guests on, being able to talk football. Might not always be about Everton, it might be about Everton's challenges for the Chasing Pack, and what we're saying is where Everton are chasing the team at the top of the table. John, hello, how are we?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I've just noticed we've got the same curtains.
I've already seen yours in person now.
I've pulled yours down before. Guys, get sharing this. Brilliant. This was a little bit impromptu. Me and John started talking and ranting, and just thought, well, why not do it as a video and talk about, you know, Everton and what we need and where we lack things and the squad depth, etc., etc. So we said we were going to spend about, I don't know, half an hour with you guys talking about it. So, John, obviously we've come off the back of a 1-0 defeat to West Ham. And I think a lot of people, it's a bit weird, actually. There's a lot of people who are sort of split over this, really, in terms of the Everton fan base. Some are saying, look, it's just one game. You know, let's not overkill it. Let's not overgun it. And then some are saying, like we're saying, but it is only one game, but we can't have too many of these one games against teams like Leeds at home as well and Newcastle away. We can't have too many of these one games. So where's your head at? And guys, by the way, these are just opinions. So some of you are going to disagree with some of these. That's fine. We're allowed opinions before we start getting shit in the comments. And equally, before we start giving you shit, yeah, fucking mean it.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you straight away because it's not just one game, is it? You know, yesterday's defeat, it's not just one game, Michael. You know, I keep saying this. We only drew with Fulham. We only drew with Burnley. You know, as you've just pointed out, we've been beaten by teams, West Ham yesterday. If we want to chase them places, them European places that we're aspiring to finish in this season, in a season of transition, we can't, yet we can afford to have one of these games, you know, every now and again. But as you quite rightly said, Michael, it's 3 home defeats already this season, you know, just around Christmas time. It's too many against the teams who, you know, we should be beating. Yeah, teams have off days, but at the end of the day, Michael, I'm going to get shot down for this. And you know what? People know what I'm like. They know what you're like. You've just said it's our opinions. My opinion is a lot of Everton fans, and we spoke about this morning, Michael, on the phone, are used to mediocrity. I'm not. You're not. And you haven't seen us win anything. I remember the 80s. I remember the 90s when that was a proper football team. Probably the best team I'll ever see. Mediocrity. When Howard Kendall turned that round in that cup game, when he opened them windows in that dressing room and said to them players, I don't need to give you a team talk. There's your team talk there, them fans. This is what it means to be an Everton fan. This is what it should mean to these players to play for Everton Football Club when they pull this shirt on. We don't want any more mediocrity. We're aspiring to push on now. We've got one of the best managers in the world. We've got a man who's spent £500 million, who looks like he's going to pump another £250 million into the club to buy up, near enough all the shares that are outstanding. The only shares that will probably be outstanding are the ones owned by the fans. So I got shot down yesterday when I said Gomez wasn't good enough. Tom Davies isn't good enough. Gylfi Sigurdsson isn't good enough. And I'm not leaving the manager out of this, Michael. If he is making substitutions like he done yesterday, if he's fucking about with a winning team like he did yesterday, we spoke this morning, Michael, he's been in charge now for 35, 40 games. And out of them 35, 40 games, there's probably 15 times where, one, he's made the wrong team selection, or two, he's made the wrong substitutions. So for me, if Carlo Ancelotti's fucking it up, I don't care if we've got one of the best managers in the world, Michael. I'm going to say it how it is. If he makes mistakes, then I'm going to point them out. If the players are making mistakes, and people said to me, and maybe I was over the top with Andre Gomez yesterday. In my opinion, yeah, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch when he come in, but he certainly didn't do enough to win Everton the game, to grab that game by the balls and take the game to West Ham yesterday. He's the sort of player who we should be looking to change games for us. And he didn't. That's why he got slated by me. And I will continue to slate players. 12 months ago, we were saying that Richarlison's a fantastic player. This season, he's been absolutely dog shit. If he's dog shit, I'm going to say he's dog shit. There's too many Everton fans, as I said before when I started this rant, who are used to and happy with mediocrity. I'm not. I want to see us push to the next level with this manager, with Mr. Mashiri, with Usmanov in the background, getting us ready for this move to Bramley Moor Dock. So I don't want any more mediocrity. As you said, Michael, yesterday wasn't a one-off game. It wasn't a one-off game. We should have got something against United, Fulham, Burnley, West Ham. It's all right going away and beating fucking Tottenham and drawing with the shite at Anfield. Yeah, great results if we're aspiring to finish in the European places. But when you're putting mediocre performances in, and when the manager is making stupid mistakes with team selections and substitutions, bringing James on and taking Dominic Calvert-Lewin off, no wonder we didn't see the best of James yesterday, because the fucking man who we're going to be serving is St. Tosin. I don't want any more of that, Michael. I want us to go into games, every game, feeling confident. Look at Liverpool. They go into every game thinking they're going to win that. Man United have started doing it. They turned their season completely round. Tottenham are on another good run again. They've won today 3-0. Against the Leeds side. Yeah, they've conceded shitloads of goals, but they keep going till the 90th minute. They got twatted 7-0 the other day, and the commentators were saying Leeds are good to watch. They're good to watch, but they've just been beat 7-0. We didn't put a performance in yesterday, and West Ham got what they deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think let me break down your argument in two ways. And firstly, as you already know, I agree in terms of the mediocrity, in terms of the players, in terms of nobody taking the game by the scruff of the neck. I 100% agree. I agree that Carlo got it wrong yesterday, and I have said in previous games, Carlo's got it wrong. Then you've got to sort of switch it on its head. And this is where the opinions, and this is where everyone's opinions changes, and this is where the specific points. When me and you both said, this isn't having a dig at the Everton players. This isn't saying that, you're a disgrace to Everton Football Club. You shouldn't wear the shirt. But what we're saying is some of these players aren't necessarily good enough for where Everton want to get to. So, no. We can't accept, and we can't even expect a midfield of players like, based on current form at the very least, an Andre Gomez, a Sigurdsson, a Tom Davies, to be getting us into Champions League spots, because they're never going to be Champions League players. And that's not me sitting here and saying I don't rate them. These are Premier League footballers. These are clearly very good footballers. If you play in the Premier League, you are a phenomenal footballer. Let's get that right. But are they phenomenal enough to take Everton to the Champions League? No, not necessarily. So I absolutely get your point. And when you add into the fact, of a couple of lacklustre performances this season. Well, you say a couple, I say a couple. You're right. Burnley, we could well have lost that game. The balance of that game completely changed when Dal's hamstring went, because we brought on Godfrey. We found out that he's a fantastic left back at least. And it gave us a little bit more balance, and we could take the game to Burnley, and we managed to get a draw. We've lost at home to West Ham last night in a game that really, I don't understand the changes. People have said about squad rotation. We had 6 days before our last game, and we've kept clean sheets with the defence of Ben Godfrey, Mina, Keane and Holgate, the 4 in the middle. We've kept clean sheets with them playing every game. I don't understand in a game where Everton can go second to change that. No, that's just my opinion, and people are allowed to disagree with my opinion. So fine, but I don't get it. And then on top of that, I didn't understand the decision to bring off Dominic Calvert-Lewin when you've just thrown James Rodriguez on, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin has scored 11 goals this season, and I think in total, including Cup and England, I think it's 15 in total. So, Dominic Calvert-Lewin knows where the net is this season, so to take him off doesn't massively make sense to me in that sense. But again, that's just an opinion. But the other side of it is, we did get it wrong. Tactically, we got it wrong. We should be beating West Ham at home. And it's not a criticism of Everton. It's equally not a criticism of West Ham. Everton should be better than West Ham at Goodison Park, but we wasn't. And again, people will say it might be a one-off performance. We lost to Manchester United at home. We took the lead. We bottled that game. We fell completely apart. The ball was coming from the left-hand side of the pitch over on Coleman's side, literally constantly all game. 3 headers. Leeds again hit us with pace. We didn't play that settled back 4 because we didn't necessarily know that they were the best back 4 that we've got. And we lost that game. And we lost last night because we didn't put the impetus into getting the ball, fighting for it, wearing the shirt, and people are going to sit here, probably slag off some of the comments we make, and I get that, but we are better than the teams we've lost to, and we've proven we're better than the teams we've lost to because of the teams that we've beaten.
Yeah.
Now let's counter that. Let's make this argument fair for everyone. This is the transition season for Everton. As me and you rightly pointed out, I think you predicted we'd finish 10th.
Yeah.
So,
let's the hope that they give us, Michael, and then put performances in that piss me off.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's absolutely normal. So then you've got to look at the squad depth. The squad depth is nowhere near a top 4 side. We know that because Manchester United absolutely done us at Goodison, having rotated, I think it was 7 players, and they were very good, Manchester United, that night. We kept the clean sheet. Yeah. So it's difficult to sit here and overly criticise anyone at Everton because we all know what our issues are. Do you get what I mean? What do we need? What do Everton need? What takes this Everton side now? Because this is what we all want. What takes this Everton side now, which is going to challenge for Europe? We are going to challenge for Europe. We definitely are. We are. People are saying, yeah, you're 3 points off 10th. I had a Liverpool fan. I saw a comment earlier. We had a comment. You're 3 points off 10th. So how can you be so proud that you're 1 point or 3 points off second or whatever it was at the time last night? Well, the facts
only 4 points behind Liverpool.
Exactly, with a game in hand up until we lost it last night. So we've got to sit here talking about the positives, but we need to also appreciate where we are right now. So how do we make that step? And here's a comment here. Here's a comment. That's a very fair comment. We're not better than United. We're not. But how do we make that step? How do we close that gap, John?
Well, I know me and you haven't said we're better than Man United, but we're far from better than Man United, Michael. Everton are screaming out for an out winger. Who's going to give Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if we play 4-4-2, the ammunition? I've just been watching the Crystal Palace game there. Wilfried Zaha's great on the wing. He's the most foul player in the league last season. Eze picked the ball up there. He's just come on, probably scored the goal of the season. This is what I'm saying, Michael. We need a ball-carrying midfielder. We have not got one. And I'm going to get shot down in the comments here. You know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it because people know what I'm like. A Ross Barkley is a rat. And I'm not saying I want him back at Everton Football Club. What I am saying is he's improved Aston Villa. He's the ball-carrying midfielder that we need. Not him exactly, but someone like him in that mould who will pick the ball up, run at the opposition, pick a pass, or, have a pop at goal, make the opposition's defence back off so it gives us a chance. We have no one like that. We have no one. Ross Barkley in a Carlo Ancelotti team would shine, in my opinion. And listen, I am not saying I want Ross Barkley back. I don't. But someone in that mould. As I said, we need an out-and-out winger. And we need a right back because Seamus Coleman coming yesterday. John Joe Kenny's not getting a sniff. It's obvious Carlo Ancelotti does not fancy him. We need an out-and-out right back because we can't go into the future playing 4 centre-halves across the back. Yes, it's working while we've got injuries. This is why I don't get why he fucked up yesterday. I said to you earlier on, Michael, one change Carlo Ancelotti made yesterday probably stopped us winning that game, and that was taking Michael Keane out the squad, out the team. I've seen a thing today. Michael Keane and Alex Iwobi said they were tired. They train for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and play 90 minutes. Now, listen, the Premier League is the hardest, fastest league in the world. But if they can't train for 2 hours a day and not have a game for 6 days and say they're tired, then I'm sorry, there's something fucking wrong. There's something wrong.
Yeah, fair enough. So, obviously, we need that ball-carrying midfielder. You said about a winger. You mentioned Ross Barkley, who essentially wouldn't play as a winger. He'd play in the middle of the park. So I get what you're saying. You need ball-carrying players in the middle of our side, and we've needed it for a long time. And it's what we thought Doucouré was, and maybe he is when Alan's fit. That's the counter to that. But in terms of wingers, you also mentioned Wilfried Zaha there. Let's talk about another winger who Everton have been linked with, which is Leon Bailey. Now, Leon Bailey is someone who's quick, can play anywhere across the front, can play on the wing. I'm sure I've even seen him in a 10 role. This is a guy who's creative, he's quick, he can ball carry. We've been linked with him before, we've been linked with him recently. Well, is that the sort of player that you want? And also, to counter that, the way that deal may happen, potentially, who knows, but the way that deal may happen is Olson gets signed for us. We get £6 million as well. And they get Bernard, where we're losing a winger. So it's a difficult one to say, but is someone like Leon Bailey, Wilfried Zaha the answer?
Well, Leon Bailey, as you quite rightly say, can play on the wing, both sides, and he can play through the middle. So exactly he is someone we need because he gives us the option, because Richarlison's not pulling up any trees this season. So he can play where he plays. He can play on the right where we're screaming out for a winger.
Yeah.
And we're looking for someone, excuse me, who can hurt the opposition's defence, Michael, by picking that ball up and running at them. He can do that as well. So can Wilfried Zaha. Listen, out-and-out wingers are hard to come by. They are. You mentioned the name to me this morning, Ademola Lookman. He's direct. He's got that turn of pace, but he's a fucking crier. But then on the flip side of that, we've already got one of them in the squad in Richarlison. So for me, we're going to bring a big name in January transfer window. I think there will be a big name, and I think there will be money spent to give us that push to bring better quality into the squad. Because if we don't, with the manner of defeats that we have suffered and the way we've played in them, Michael, I think if we don't, I think that could be our Achilles heel for that European push. And there's as you say, we've got to get rid of players. Tosin could be off to West Brom, as you said, 6 million gets him off the wages. Bernard could go. If we bring a midfielder in, maybe Tom Davis will go out on loan. These players who I've just named there, Michael, are not good enough. They're not. We know this, and I've pointed out a few times on here, Michael. This is possibly the worst squad of players Carlo Ancelotti has ever inherited in any job that he's took. He must have turned up at Finch Farm on his day and seen the likes of fucking Tom Davis. I'm going to mention Alex Iwobi, but we missed him yesterday, and I never thought I'd say that. He's direct. He's not the fastest, but he will pick the ball up and he will run at the opposition, and we missed him yesterday, Michael.
Yeah, there's a few players that sort of spring to mind that I would like, and there's a few people in the comments. To be fair, guys, so keep the names coming. I am seeing them, and we will go through a few of the comments. It's just trying to sort of get the points across. And one of the other areas that we obviously need to strengthen, and it was abundantly obvious yesterday, that it is a right back, because it sounds funny. And I'm not saying Coleman had a bad game either, by the way. I'm not saying he was horrific. I'm not saying he was the worst Everton player on the pitch yesterday. I think that's reserved for Richarlison, no disrespect again, but he had a bad game. Seamus Coleman, at times yesterday, allowed that ball to come across the box. He did. Fornals had a header. There was a ball from Creswell that in this first half that I think Bowen just misses. You haven't been seeing them with Mason Holgate at right back. And the reason why, as we said before, is we've been playing that low block. Carlo Ancelotti has mentioned that. We play that low block, which means they can't cross from the line of our 18-yard box. So they can't. So between the 18-yard line and the line where it would go out for a goal kick or a corner, line. Holgate is flat against that. So the ball can't get physically through Holgate. Whereas Coleman, because he's a little bit more forward thinking than Holgate, he's slightly forward, and that leaves that gap. And again, that's not a criticism, because absolutely, Luca Dean does exactly the same. So if I'm going to say the same for Coleman, I've actually got to say the same for our most creative player, in my opinion, which is Luca Dean. You can't fix that without playing someone who's not going to go forward. So if you're not going to have a right back that's going to go forward, this is where you need the winger. However, if we go and get a right back who can act as a wing back and sort of play a 3-5-2, and there was an Arsenal fan that just put that comment in there, to be fair to him. If we play two wing backs, Luca Dean on a left wing back position, slightly more forward, but we've got the flat three in the middle, and we have a right wing back on the right hand side, which offers you the winger, but also offers the fact they've got the flat back and they've got the people going forward. There's only one man for me, and that man is Max Aarons. There's only one man. He's the only one that I think, he's the one that would take that step up from Norwich to Everton, and it would do a phenomenal job. We already know we've got the centre backs to do the job.
Well, he'll fit in like Ben Godfrey did. I think the money Norwich are asking, I think they're going to have to lower their asking price, aren't they? For that to happen in January.
Yeah.
But as you say, if you're playing with wing backs, you need for a winger doesn't smack you in the face as much.
Yeah, you don't. And this is where Everton change, and this is what I'm talking about. So listen to my team if Everton have wing backs, right? So you have Pickford or Olson in goal. That's not going to change in January. So it's one of them in goal. Your left back is Luca Dean. Your middle three, and I'm going to absolutely praise them to the hilt here. So Ben Godfrey in the middle, being solid. Michael Keane as the one on the right of the three, being solid. Yuri Mina at the base of that three has been solid, has been really underrated this season by a lot of people. Max Aarons on the right-hand side as right wing-back. Then you've got your three in the middle of the park, which would be, according to the rumours, and we will move on to him, Sami Khedira, Alan, Decore. However, that then only allows you two up front. So you play the 5-3-2. There's no James or no Richarlison or no Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And that's your stumbling block if you play that team. Or do you not bring in Sami Khedira and do you stick James Rodriguez flat bang in the middle of the park?
Well, this was an argument yesterday on the watch along, Michael. You know, we're playing James out wide, but he likes to come in.
Yeah.
So because to stop him having to come in, play him in the middle and play the wing backs.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side of that, we've also spoke about Everton's best formation under Carlo Ancelotti is 4-4-2.
Exactly. And this is the
But
issue
it's
you've got.
4-4-2 because of the squad of players he's got. If he brings in better experience, better quality players, then he may be able to change from a 4-4-2. But the 4-4-2 has stood us in good stead over the run we've just been on up until yesterday.
Yeah. And then you're also saying, and this is where I personally don't bring in Sami Khedira. So this is my opinion. I'm just talking about teams and different changes, etc. I don't bring in Sami Khedira. I play a 3-5-2. I bring in a right wing back, whether that be Max Aarons, and we've got 30 million or whatever it costs. Do it. If we haven't, and I don't think we have, we have different opinions on we're going to spend money in January. I think we're not gonna. I think we're going to try and reduce in January.
Hard window, the January transfer. It's a hard window.
It is, especially when Norwich know Everton need a right back. John Joe Kenny's not good enough. Norwich know we need a right back. So I can't see Max Aarons joining Everton in January. I just can't. I would love it to. I would really love it to, but I can't. So they go out and get a right wing back on loan instead of a winger on loan. Don't know who they go for. Don't throw names at me because I haven't got a clue. I haven't researched that. But if they get a right wing back, what happens to the structure of the attacking team? Does James come into the middle? Do we do it so we play 3-5-2? And obviously, as we just talked about, the flat three at the back, the wing back and the right back will go in the 5 in the middle. Do you have it that you have a player like Allen and Doucouré as the 2 in the middle? You play James just slightly forward and you have Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin one side? Or does he not fit? And this is the issue we have. Everton, no doubt, on paper, first 11, quite good. No one's going to sit there and say Everton, first 11.
It's finding the correct formation to get the best out of these players, isn't it?
Exactly. And if you stick James in the middle of the park, my worry is defensively. Because we all know James is probably one of the best creative. As I said, I mentioned Luca Dean earlier, just because of his ability and his work rate and his ability from free kicks. So I think Luca Dean, on paper, is probably more creative than James at this moment in time. All round. Yeah, all round. Don't get me wrong, James is a phenomenal player and he's definitely as creative. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that, for what James needs to give the ball to people, because James hasn't got the pace to do it on his own. He hasn't necessarily got the strength and the guile to do it on his own. He's got this. And he knows that if he wants to
pass, doesn't he? But you're not going to get him going past players.
Exactly. And what's made James look really good this season is exactly what made Luca Dean look so important. He got the ball. James would get the ball on the right-hand side. He would cut in. And he would look for Luca Dean on the other side of the pitch. And he would spray the ball over to him. And then you'd see the 2 runs. Richarlison would go front post. Dominic Calvert-Lewin would go back post. And whoever got the ball first would be on target, because we both know they can score. It's very easy to work out how Everton play football. But it's it's glaringly obvious when you don't have your 2 most creative players on the pitch. And this is why I expect even more results like last night. I expect us to lose games that we shouldn't be losing. I expect us to fall apart. I even expect at times the players on that pitch to be a little bit shithousery and not play for the shirt, because they know they are not the players that are going to get Everton from where they are to where they're going. So why would you be asked? Do you get what I'm saying? They get their wage, and I'm not sitting here criticising anyone, but why would Sigurdsson all of a sudden start absolutely doing really well if he knows he's not getting a new contract? Why would Tom Davies sit here as the Everton poster boy and do really good in the community? We all love the fact Tom Davies is a proper blue. He is a proper blue, but he knows that in 2 years' time, he doesn't get anywhere near the Everton team. Even now, he doesn't get in the Everton team if everyone's fit. So what I'm saying is, why? What do we need to do to just step everyone up? And we've seen it with Iwobi. When people are prepared to step up, They've been really good. And I was so disappointed last night that in a game where it was very similar to Sheffield United, very similar, instead of somebody grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, which Sigurdsson did against Sheffield United, Bernard, come on. Sigurdsson stepped up. He got his goal. We win 1-0. No one did that last night against West Ham.
No. There was a lot of shithouse performances for me last night, all over the pitch, Michael. And I never thought I'd sit here and say we're missing players like Alex Iwobi.
But it's because they're ball carrier.
Well, yeah, and this is what I was saying about Ross Barkley. I'm not saying I want Ross Barkley back, but he will play for the shirt, Michael. Players. You're saying, what do we need? Tom Davies probably doesn't know he's going to be there in 2 years. Gylfi Sigurdsson, there is rumours today Everton are thinking about giving him another contract. Don't get that. I don't get that. Because if we want to aspire and push up that league to where we want to be, we have to bring better players in than Gylfi Sigurdsson. Whether Carlo sees more in him than what we do, I don't know. But what you will find, Michael, and I guarantee this, it's very, very, very rare fans of a football club are wrong. It's very, very rare. I don't know whether we'll spend money in January. I think for the final push to the end of the season to get these European places, I think we have to. I don't think we can go to the end of the season with Richarlison sulking. We're having 2 goalkeepers on the bench because the squad's not big enough and good enough. Tom Davies starting. Fabian Delph to come back in. Bernard not knowing whether he's coming or going. Dominic Calvert-Lewin not getting the service. The manager bringing substitutes on, which doesn't make sense because you're taking your best centre forward off. We can't go from January to May continuing like that and not getting to where we want to be, because it won't happen. It won't. He needs to stop fucking about with a winning team. Okay, maybe a few tweaks in midfield. I get that. Your back line is your foundation for a victory. That's how you set your team up. It's the first names on a team sheet, your back line. And I said to you this morning, Michael, one change yesterday. I don't know if I've said this. One change yesterday to that back line. I think I have said this. Probably stopped us getting the 3 points yesterday.
It certainly stopped us having the solidity at the back. There was a new player put in, and Seamus Coleman again. He has been a phenomenal servant for Everton, and as I say, he didn't have a bad game. To be honest, none of the back 4 had a particularly bad game, but it changed the dynamic of how Everton played, and that's what cost us getting a result. We're
probably having a pop more at the manager than Seamus. We're not sitting here, as I said on the watch along yesterday, Michael, £60,000. Seamus Coleman's been one of the buyers in the Premier League, as far as I'm concerned, but he's not the player he was. And for Ancelotti to change a back line that has been on an unbelievable run of form, to bring Seamus Coleman in, I didn't get that. And listen, I know I keep butting in, but I just want to get my point across that, listen, Everton have had a fantastic season. They have. And, me and Michael were talking earlier on, we can't believe that after 17 games, we are where we are in the league. I was said we were going to finish 10th, as Michael said. But it's the hope that's now killing us, because when you've got stupid mistakes by the manager and victories that we haven't got against teams we should be, that's what pisses us off more.
Yeah, let's just talk about Richarlison then. A lot of people are talking about Richarlison, and a lot of people are commenting on whether he's going, he's been sold. Fundamentally, whether he's an actual Everton player under Carlo Ancelotti going forward. And for me, it's very difficult to say that he's not. But actually, I can understand why people are saying he's not. So let me give my 50 pence worth on Richarlison. You can do the same, and then we'll see how many people hate us or not. Richarlison, every single season, has a moment in the season where he looks like he's sulking. He doesn't play well. It happened last season, and I suggested we dropped him. And if you remember, he was dropped for 2 or 3 games last season. Now, we always go on about players' attitudes. We always go on about players sulking. And as fans, we always say that because we don't actually see the inner circle, the inner workings of what happens at football clubs. We've done it time and time again. We've done it with Luke Garbutt. We've done it with Ademola Lookman. We'd do it with Richarlison. We've done it with Iwobi. We've done it with younger players, older players, who wants to be at Everton, who doesn't want to be at Everton. The facts go on. But for me, what Richarlison offers defensively is absolutely invaluable. Like, even last night, he was still trying to win the ball, even though he was having a stinker. But what Richarlison didn't do last night was his actual job, which was getting the ball forward, dribbling, creating. And you highlighted it in the live stream. You highlighted this perfectly. We both said it. Why is Dominic Calvert-Lewin dropping into midfield? Why is Calvert-Lewin appearing on the left, crossing the ball into the box for somebody else? You know, I didn't get
Richarlison's job.
Exactly. But what Richarlison did do is he was still prepared to battle, but his head dropped as soon as Everton started it was almost like as soon as they started wielding the changes, he dropped. And what I don't understand is on the 65th minute or whenever it was that he took Bernard off, if Richarlison's having a bad game and he's sulking because he's having a bad game, so like he's sulking about Everton, he might not be sulking about the environment. He might be standing there, because I do this. If I have a bad shot, I'll shout, for fuck's sake, Mike, that's shit. And I get on top of myself. I think Richarlison does exactly the same, and so did Ross Barkley. It's very emotional. But that also can be construed as, well, he doesn't want to play for Everton anymore. He's not arsed. He's not bothered. So I sit here and do not know whether Richarlison wants to play for Everton or whether he doesn't. But what I do know is this season hasn't necessarily been good enough for Richarlison, because he's a better player than what he's shown this season. But I still don't know whether that's an attitude towards himself for having a poor game, or an attitude that he doesn't want to play for Everton Football Club, because the tendency is exactly the same. You get angry and you sulk, and who knows what you're sulking about? No one else is in your fucking head.
If reports are to be believed,
yes,
there was murmurings that he may go before this season started, and apparently Ancelotti talked him into having one more season at Everton. Right? He hasn't been anywhere near the Richarlison that we seen this season. I want to ask you a question. He cost us 50 million. I'm right, I think.
Yep.
Would you take 60, 70 million for Richarlison? That's my first question. And my second question is, at the beginning of the season, or in the close season before the season started, me and you were having a conversation, and we said, should we build a team around Richarlison, right? I will ask you that question now. Do you still believe we should build our team for the future to push on around Richarlison, who's a fucking massive sulk in my opinion, who has not pulled up any trees this season? Would you take the money and bring someone in who's going to put a shift in, week out, not sulk, take players on, create chances, and know where you stand with them? Because I'm telling you right now, I totally agree with what you say, Michael. We do not know what is in his head. We're not claiming to know what is in anyone's head within Everton Football Club, any football club, but facial expressions, match performances, the way he's playing, the way he's sulking, the way he's dropping, It does not fill me with confidence that he wants to play for our football club anymore. And I'm probably going to get shot down in the comments for this. But the main question I'm asking is 4 months ago, 5 months ago, me and Michael were saying, should we build a team around Richarlison on the strength of last season? I don't know if we can say that anymore.
I think for Everton, and I had this conversation with West Ham fans, which is mad. I actually think we should build a team around Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because I think he's now proven, or he's at least proven to me enough that he is a goal scorer. I know we've had a few disagreements about that, but for me, when he's in the box, he scores goals. So get the ball in the box, and Calvert-Lewin will score goals. It's that simple. You need to build a team that works for your strikers, because it's your strikers that win your games of football. It's your defence that implements that. It's your midfield that makes both happen. And everyone has said or seen, we've all seen Wilfried Zaha strop, sulk. We've seen Eze. I'm sure the QPR fans would have said at times last season, look like he's
because
sulking.
They don't want to be there.
But how do you, and that could be for various reasons, though. It could either be they don't want to be on that pitch because they're having an absolute stinker. The left back has got him in his pocket, and he knows that he can't do nothing about it. I mean, Soufal for West Ham last night was fantastic on Richarlison. Dominated, got the ball off him time and time again. Richarlison completely one dribble last night against 21. Yeah. Richarlison's confidence would have been on the absolute fucking deck. He probably wanted to be subbed because he thought, why am I here? I can't do what I need to do. But equally, it may be that he doesn't want to play for Everton. We don't know. So you can't necessarily build a team around a player that is as emotionally undynamic as that. Another thing that, and again, we always comment on this, Richarlison isn't a winger anymore. He was when we signed him, but now he's more of a centre forward. We both said at the start of the season, Richarlison is a better finisher than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So,
I think the difference, you've mentioned two players. Well, one player as well as Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 9 times out of 10, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is having a poor game and he's missed chances, he's put headers over the bar, he's missed one-on-ones, he will still keep going and he will still keep trying. Yeah. And, you know, if he gets another chance in the game, the keeper will make a save or he'll score. He keeps going if he's having a poor game. Doesn't show like he's sulking. That's the difference between him and Richarlison. So what you've said about building a team around Dominic Calvert-Lewin instead of Richarlison, I totally agree with, because you know what you're going to get with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We don't know from week in and week out what we're going to get with Kleinhaus. We don't.
So, Richarlison gets sold. Then we need 2 wingers. Or do we? Or do we need another centre forward? What do we need at that point?
But again, it goes back to what you said earlier, what formation we play if the 3-5-2 with wing-backs. Then your need for wingers isn't as great. If we
so you need another striker. So you need another striker. You know, and actually, in terms of Everton, unless all of a sudden Andy Sims is going to start getting into the team, who, you know, we need 2 strikers because we've only got 2 now. We've only got Cenk Tosun and what's his name? DCL. They're not.
Yeah. You see, you're throwing things at me that, you know, good strikers are hard to come by, Michael. You know,
that's what I mean.
Score goals week in, and we had this conversation. Probably get shot down for this. You know, you quite rightly pointed out there that Richarlison is a better goal scorer than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, right? I am not saying here that Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't an out-and-out goal scorer. But I want someone to come in and out of 10 chances, he'll score 8 goals.
Yeah.
You possibly you may in years to come with a bit more experience when he's a bit older, but you're not going to get that with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, in my opinion, at the minute. So we still need that out and out striker and the hard to come by. I'm going to go flip it back now, and people will probably think, well, you're talking out your ass, because before you were saying we need to be building for the future. We do need to be building for the future, but we also need players to give us that final push, and that's why we've been linked with Sammy Khedira, and that's why me and Michael have talked about him. Olivier Giroud would fit in fantastic at Everton.
In a 3-5-2. In a 3-5-2 he would, yeah. Absolutely perfect. And we've got Rose with us now. John, if you need to leave, because I remember you were only going to do half an hour.
No, I'm all right. I'm fine. If you want me to go and want to be on your own with Rose, it's fine. But
it's more like you want me to go and leave you with Rose. So I have to be careful. I have to protect Rose, bless her. Welcome, Rose. How are you?
Hello, Rose. Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas as well.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that. I mean, Jesus. We've had a donation there from PAV FC. Ezzy playing great at CP FC Crystal Palace. We get not signing him. He's perfect player to what Everton probably need in that sense. Rose, first of all, what did you think of last night?
Pathetic, really. It wasn't. We're going to lose games. Like we know we're going to lose games, but yesterday was just didn't turn up, weren't interested, probably even worse. We didn't look like scoring, honestly. I was so disappointed, because a lot of people who commented on my video yesterday said, I don't understand. We beat Tottenham, we beat Chelsea, and then we lose to Southampton, Newcastle, West Ham, and it might cost us at the end of the season. So yeah, it was just so poor. And I don't know why Keane was on the bench, maybe resting him, but I think Keane and Mina have been good. So I don't know. And I think you guys were just talking about Richarlison when I had it on. When I was listening to you guys now. I don't know what's happened to him. He spends half his time on the floor or running into defenders. Like he doesn't, and then he's just sulking a lot. And I don't know why.
Yeah, I think I like we said about the sulking. It's difficult for me, because we all have emotions, and when I've played football, for example, as I said to John, I have it where if I have a bad game, I sulk, but I don't sulk at anyone else. I don't blame the team. I sulk at myself. But I don't know whether he's sulking at himself or he's sulking that he didn't get that move to Barcelona. So that's the issue, the conundrum I've got with Richarlison. I don't know. But I fully expect Richarlison will not be an Everton player next season. I fully expect he will not. And if he isn't, that's the job that Carlo's got, because in my opinion, he doesn't have to find a winger. The way that I would set up Everton, and I'm not Carlo Ancelotti, the way that I would set up Everton is a 3-5-2 with two wing backs, and that eliminates the fact that you need a winger, and it means you need a bloody good right wing back. But it allows you to have the back, the block back three. You can't even speak. That we've needed. You know, we have the three players at the back to sort of stop that ball getting into the box. And when it does get in the box, you've got players like Ben Godfrey, Yuri Mina, and Michael Keane that, to be fair to them, have been fantastic this season. It's only been the right hand side that we've had concerns. But Rose, based on last night, and as you rightly said, where can Everton finish? What is Everton right now? Are we European? Are we title challengers? Are we a European team, or are we a mid-table team fighting to get? I don't know, because this transition that we all keep saying.
Yeah.
How long does it last?
I don't know. Like 1 week, I think, okay, yeah, we'll get a top four. Like the run that we were on, the 4 consecutive wins, I thought, yeah, top four. January, we're still there, we're still amongst it. But then when we play like we did yesterday, we've got the cup game and then Wolves. Wolves did very well. I watched them against United, I think it was, away from home. They didn't have Jimenez. They didn't have it like a focal point. But Traore, and this is something that we just don't have, Traore, when he got the ball, he'd beat three of them, go as far as he could, and then there was just nobody there for them to score. And yesterday, something that was glaring to me is that we don't have a midfielder who wants to get forward and like beat. They can't beat two players and then release it to Calvert-Lewin.
We haven't got
Our
anyone.
midfielders, no, we haven't got. We even Wolves. We and you look at Palace with Eze and abroad there's Bailey maybe but we just haven't got anyone with pace really that can take somebody on and. Yeah.
You've mentioned the name there, Rose. It's completely slipped my mind. The player who I'd love at Everton, Adama Traore.
Yeah.
He's the sort of player we need, and we could possibly get. If you're offered the right money, another one who are quite like St. Maxim. Another one, direct winger, strong, fast, will take players on, will whip the ball into the box, can score goals. We don't have that.
The issue with all of those, John, and again, I'm not saying I disagree. It's just I know, obviously, being a Midlands person myself, one of my best friends, Tom, is a Wolves fan. You've met Tom. Tom told me yesterday that Adama Traore is one of the biggest sulks at Wolves. So for me, you need a player that isn't going to sulk every 2 minutes, whether he has a good game or not, and
I said that about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We want players who if they're having a poor game, if they're not taking their chances, if they're not beating players when they take them on, they won't spit their dummy out and they'll keep going and they'll blame themselves. And you can see the blame in themselves that they're having a poor game. They won't take it out on anybody else. You don't get that with Richarlison because as soon as he spits his dummy out and gets a titty lip on, you don't know whether he's pissed off with himself because he's having a poor game. You don't know whether he's pissed off because of the players he's playing with, the likes of Tom Davies, Bernard. This is the thing. You don't know what you're getting with Richarlison because if he has a poor game, I'd come out and say now, if Richarlison has a poor first 20 minutes, half an hour, then he's going to be shit for the other 60 minutes. Yeah. You can tell that with Richarlison. If he starts a game poor and things aren't going his way and he can't beat a person and he misses a chance and he gives away a stupid foul and probably feels like he's going to get picked on by the referee all game, or he gets put on his arse like he always does. If that happens in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, then Richarlison's going to be poor. You know that with him, and that's the difference.
So let me throw a name out there that we all know that we probably won't sign, but a player that is a ball-carrying midfielder, can play on the wing, can play anywhere in midfield, will battle for his team. That man's Jack Grealish. Now, do Everton go and spend £100 million, probably, on a player like Jack Grealish? Or do they take a chance on a winger who could sulk? Because, as I suspect, and there seems to be common cause here, it's more emotion than it is against the clubs. Although, to be fair, Ryan Mattox, he says that he's fell out with Bruce. Adama Traore at Wolves, sulks. Everyone was, a lot of people were saying no in the comments. Richarlison, we know sulks, but on his day is phenomenal. Where do you win? And this is why, personally, I changed the team to 3-5-2, and I'll take that stress out. I'll go and get two good strikers. One who's the sort of, you mentioned earlier, John, an Olivier Giroud, a Raul Jimenez type striker, can score lots of goals with his head, and a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is just a perfect all-round striker at this moment in time. Quick, strong, powerful, pacey, a little bit of skill, will come short, pick the ball up, allow players to come into play. Well, that's why I go the way I go. But again, it's a difficult argument to have for either.
I would easily give up the 3-5-2 formation to sign Jack Grealish. The question I'll ask you, Rose and Michael, would you take us selling Richarlison and splashing the money on Jack Grealish if we could get him?
I think actually yes.
I would.
When he plays, he just looks like he's just having a kick around in the park. Like, he doesn't have that nervousness that a lot of our players tend to get, or look really anxious.
Fantastic.
But he just, every game I watch him in, he just leads Villa, and they have got some decent players as well. But he just drives the team forward, carries the ball. But the thing is he going to come? Because they're having a very good season. I don't know. I think that comment just says...
This is the thing. Well, it is, yeah. And Faz, we haven't once said we're in for Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
The conversation we're having is, would we go for him? Because listen, if there's any sniff that Jack Grealish will be sold by Aston Villa for the right amount of money, there's going to be a lot of big clubs in for them. So listen, Everton won't get a Jack Grealish, but it's what we're talking about. It's the sort of player you need.
Yeah, and I think another argument to have here is people have just mentioned Villa, and I'm just going to give Villa a little bit of credit. 26 points, 2 games in hand on us. They've had a great season. And if you look at the midfield that they've got with players like McGinn, who I rate very highly. They've got the lad from Manchester City. I always forget his bloody name. Diaz, I think it is. Very good player. Ross Barkley, when he's fit, linked up with Jack Grealish phenomenally well. Good player. And then they've got Jack Grealish. Their midfield, in my opinion, isn't just better than Everton's. It's one of the best in the league. I'll go that far. They've found Ollie Watkins, who seems to be a goal scorer, a natural goal scorer, who stepped up, scored 7 goals. And defensively, Villa are strong. Dean Smith's built a hell of a team at Aston Villa, and the owners at Villa will back Dean Smith. They've spent £100 million in the last 2 windows. We have a real danger of getting a bit too big for our boots here with a team that, like Wolves, who've come up and overtook us for the last 2 years. Villa, who come up, yes, they should have, well, they could have got relegated last season and should have. The goal went in from Sheffield United and it weren't given. But look where they're going, and I sort of sit here and I think Carlo really needs to sort of pull a rabbit out of his arse at this moment in time, because we're not actually as good as we think we are, but we are very good. So it's sort of, there's no winning as Everton fans right now as to where Everton and what direction we're actually going in.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think we need to be strong in this window. We always know in January it's hard, but, you know, we're starting to get found out a little bit as well. I mean, Moyes, I could see from like minute 1, in the first 15, 20 minutes, they had a plan. It was like a smash and grab. They were just going to, you know, hold out as best they could and then get that goal. And they had loads of chances, to be fair to them. They're good few chances. I put actually out on Instagram today, where do you strengthen? And some of the replies really made me laugh. Somebody said the entire 11, and I thought it was really harsh. But, you know, I think right back, midfield, striker, winger, potentially, like there's still 4 positions that I think need to be improved. So
I agree with you, Rose. I think for Everton to push on to where, you know, for the European places and to start challenging for cups and, you know, consistently challenging for them top 4 places, Everton need 4 first team players. That's not counting strengthening the substitutes and the squad as a whole. We still need 4 or 5 positions, as you quite rightly say, Rose, for us to sit up and go, we know what we're getting with Everton now, because as you just said, Michael and Rose, you both said it, we don't know what we get with Everton from week in, week out. We don't know. You know, as you said, right back, winger, another midfielder, and I said before, an out-and-out striker who's going to score 8 out of 10 chances. That's just to get us the top 4. Then you still need to get rid of the deadwood to strengthen. As I said to Michael Rose, we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench yesterday. That just shows how poor the squad is. You know, no Ellis Sims. Why did you put Ellis Sims on the bench?
I've got no idea. I mean, I've been banging on about that for months now. Like, you know, he's either good enough or he isn't. You either think that he can make the jump and be on the bench, or he can't. But we keep putting 2 goalies on the bench, and you just think, is there nobody in the academy that could step up? I don't know.
My frustration with this, and I did one of my very earliest videos on the channel was talking about the youngsters at Everton, and you know, we've seen Luke Garbett playing Europe for Everton Football Club. He made 12 appearances and looked like Leighton Baines. He had that whipping ball, he had that forward. Everyone puts that down to his attitude that he's not at Everton anymore. Who knows? No one knows. You know, we can go into the midfield. Benny Beningime was absolutely fantastic for the 3 games he played 2 years ago under Sam Allardyce. Where is he now? You know, we do this time and time again with incredibly talented. Yeah, Anthony Robinson, look at him. He almost
He's on
went
the
to
verge of
AC
removed to
Milan.
Milan.
Yeah.
We do this time and time again, and you see there's so many Everton players that have either played for other clubs who have made it, or there's John Lundstrom, for example.
Lundstrom.
Look,
I was about to say Lundstrom. Yeah.
we
need a midfielder.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to go down for Sheffield United. But last season, he outscored all of our midfielders last season. So I really don't know. I don't know where Everton are going right now. I trust Everton. I trust Carlo. I trust Brands. I trust Mashiri. But it's difficult to compare where Everton actually are when, as Rose rightly said, you've rightly said, John, we can beat Tottenham away. We can draw with Liverpool. We can beat Arsenal. We can beat Chelsea. But we can lose to Leeds and West Ham at home. And we're always going to lose games. It's right. We're always going to lose games. But there has to be a happy medium. And at the minute, we're either fantastic or we're shit. There's no middle ground.
And this is what I said. We're sitting here and it sounds like we're slagging the club off, the manager off, the players off. And to a certain extent we are, because we're not going to sit here and blow smoke up their ass if we've got an opinion on it. And, we are higher in the league than where we thought we would be. We've beat teams this season who we didn't think we'd beat. So, we're not getting ahead of ourselves by sitting here, coming on, crying, moaning. I know it sounds like we are, because we are, we're fifth in the league. Let's put that in perspective. We're fifth in the league. But it's the manner of these defeats. And also, as you just quite rightly said, Michael, you don't know what we're getting.
We never know game into game out. It's all right, don't worry. One last point then, and I appreciate, Rose, this was very hit and miss for you. So thank you for coming on at short notice and during the scrim. It's always good to have you on. You're always welcome. As I say, I do have to be careful about that man over there because realistically then, between 1 and 20, as of right now, with the team that we've got, where do Everton finish? And then, with the changes you want in January, where do you think Everton finish then? So I need 2 numbers from you, Rose.
I think current squad now, 6th. I think, we've still got some very tough games ahead. I'd say 6th is probably that. If we get a midfielder, that can carry the ball, I'd still probably only say 5th, because our squad isn't ready for Champions League football. I'd love it. It would be great if the virus, goes away and we're back in normal, situation and fans are able to go. Champions League would be amazing. But is our squad ready? No, realistically. So I'd say 6th. Without anybody else, and possibly 5th in the Europa League if we get somebody in.
John, I ask you the same question.
I go 1 number higher for each one. I think with the current squad, if we don't strengthen 7th, just scrape Europa League. I don't see us finishing in the top 4. If we bring 1, maybe 2 players in, I don't think that's enough to push us any higher than 6th.
Yeah, okay, so I'll give you mine. I think based on current form, current Everton team, I think the consistency will eventually kill us. So I'll go 7th. So I agree with you, John. However, we bring in that little bit of experience, and this is why I think we've been linked with people like Sami Khedira, who have got that, although he's not for me. I wouldn't sign him personally, but I can understand why we're linked with players with this experience. Diego Costa's another one. But if we can get a winner, as in an actual winner, a leader on the pitch, because again, we've all missed that. There's no leaders in the Everton team, really. At no point do I sit here and think, oh, yeah, we're going to win that game because he's going to take the scruff of the game by the scruff of the neck.
I think Sammy will give you that. I think Khedira will give you that.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So if we get that, I think we finish 5th. I think the teams that will finish above Everton are, painfully to say, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea. I think Spurs will fall off. I think Leicester will fall off. But again, that's hope. That's hope. So we need to be more consistent than them 2 teams. And they're our biggest rivals this season. And you can arguably say that both of those teams have a better squad with more depth than Everton. So that's where I am with that.
Just want to throw in, I think Tottenham finish above Chelsea, but it's just my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. I mean, that's fair enough. It's just because I think Mourinho will somehow manage to completely destabilise the team and next season be sacked.
Like he always does, yeah.
Like he always does. Third season, he never stays. Rose, is there anything you want to say to the 163 people that are currently watching now, my dear?
Oh, well. No, just thank you for having me on again. And hopefully we can get back to winning ways next weekend. In the cup.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Rotherham. Guys, there will be a watch along as always. There will be the match preview, the match reaction, and we will be doing the Chasing Pack show once a week. This is the Chasing Pack. This is the show name. Come over and join us. Rose, after this video, I promise I'll put your channel in the description. It wasn't planned, so you're not there at the minute, but you will be. No. Guys, get over to... You've changed your name, haven't you? What is it now? This is Everton.
Yeah. It's now This is Everton, yeah.
What was the reason behind that? Let's just ask that.
I just wanted a change. And so one of my favourite YouTubers is Now This Is Living. She doesn't upload very much now. So I just copied her start and then put Everton at the end.
John was on about making his own channel. He wanted to call it I Want to Be in a Gumbar for Holly, who's in the in the comments there. So there she is, bless her. Rose, we will be doing more of these, so I'm hoping that we can see you on a little bit just for these little chats. Just we're going to try and do one weekly, so you're always welcome. Guys, for anyone here, go over to Now This Is Everton. Go and subscribe to her now. I want to see my number drop. I'm going to give you 20 seconds from now to go and do it. So you've got 20 seconds to go and subscribe to Rose's channel. And if you're not subscribed by the end, that's it. Don't bother watching me anymore. I'm going to cancel the channel. I'm going to cancel YouTube. That's it. I'm finished. I'm done with you all.
The numbers will go up now you've said that, just to get rid of you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. What's this? Hang on. Sorry. No.
John's gonna go viral.
John.
Oh my God.
What the fuck's that? What is that?
I won't be going viral, Rose. I'll be going to the moon. Jesus.
What is it? What was it, John? For fuck's sake, Sadibi! Get over, mate!
Fuck's sake, Sadibi, get over this, your man.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Guys, we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. We'll leave you all to it. Have a fantastic Saturday. I keep thinking it's Sunday. Rose, obviously, it could be a big day for you Monday, really.
It could be.
It could be. Guys, I'll see you soon. Peace.
Thank you, everyone. See you, Rose.
See you. Bye.